Part 2. Video editor cutout. Whatever, 2 parts. So where were we? Let's see. Kachina's bring presents and everything that occurs during the year is arranged at Soyal. Sweet. Next up is Yalda. Now Yalda is the ancient holiday celebrated by Zoroastrians. Zoroastrianism is the oldest monotheism and literally celebrates the triumph of good over evil. Right? As those nights begin to shorten. Fire and light are associated with the Angrameyu. Fire and light are associated with the Ahura Mazda, the creative force that Zoroastrians try to aid. Darkness is associated with the Angrameyu, who is the destructive spirit against whom Zoroastrians struggle. And Solstice... Hey, Rada, close the door! Thanks, bud!
What?
Close the door. Anyway, the solstice is also associated with the birth of Mithra, who is strongly associated with Ahura Mazda. But we're not really quite sure how. Mithraism is a mystery cult. What that means, it's just a fancy way of saying a religion that you don't know what's in it unless you actually sign up. So a lot of it's lost to history. But Yalda, even though the majority of Persians are now Muslim, is still celebrated as a cultural holiday. Its celebrations include the lighting of fires. And the fires that were once set to beat back the Angrameyu at like his strongest, well, now they're set for fires and tradition and custom. And Yalda is still celebrated widely as a cultural holiday. Feasting is super common, and as you can see, nuts and seeds are there to bring prosperity. And pomegranates and watermelon are also deeply traditional. Our second to last holiday takes us a little bit west to the Nacht people. The Nacht people are some of the very first people to come into Europe. Their old customs and stories date back to 4,000 years before Christ. In their customs, which were dedicated to the Dilamalk in the Vainaka tradition, December 25th was the birthday and the festival of the sun. The Nacht believed that the sun visits her mother on the solstice. The journey took her 6 months to complete, and during the ceremonies, people would turn east to greet their goddess. It's a very east-pointed culture, actually, like the doors to temples, and houses also point due east. So, our last holiday is Inti Raymi. Inti Raymi honors the sun god and the Inca, the firstborn son of the sun. So, can you hear the band? So anyway, fearing the lack of sun, the Incas gathered in Cusco to honor the sun and plead for his return. Celebrants would fast before the event and refrain from all physical pleasures and present gifts to the Inca, who in return would put on a feast. So, the last thing that would happen is they would sacrifice many, many llamas to ensure good crops and pay homage to the sun. This is usually the part in the lecture where a bunch of you freak out about some llamas being sacrificed, and some of those same people are the people who did not freak out at all when I was like, human sacrifice. Just say it. Alright, so the most fascinating part about Inti Raymi is that it was completely banned until 1572 because it's pagan and it's contrary to the Catholic faith. But today, those pre-Christian traditions are being reclaimed by indigenous people all around the world. And in Cusco, you can go on the winter solstice and see Inti Raymi performed and put on by 1,000 people wishing to honor the Inca and the sun. Oh, and because it's the Southern Hemisphere, you have 6 months to plan your trip, which should be plenty of time. Plenty of time to plan a trip to Cusco. All right, so last piece last. Tonight will be 15 hours, 34 minutes, and 37 seconds long in Seattle. Now then, if you're in 5th or 6th period, you might have noticed I'm gone. And that is because I need to get Hearthside before the last light. Now, tonight that hearth is on the northern side of Mount Sumas. Yeah. And if you're not quite sure where Mount Sumas is, Canadian border. Right. So, if you guys would all join me real fast in a round of applause for Miss Clutch for watching my class. Thank you! What are you guys going to do for the longest night? Have a great break.